Welcome back to Hanging with the Hazes. On Monday, severe storms rolled across Maryland and parts of the mid-Atlantic, bringing tornado warnings and some real concern for our area. While many of us were watching radar, some people were actually on the ground tracking the storm in real time. Now, today we are joined by storm spotter David Schultz, who followed the system as it moved through the region and helped provide real-time information while the storm was developing. Now, that real-time information is super incredibly important, especially for those who are outdoors, for campers, us campers, my people that are camping, RV trailers, and anyone staying in campgrounds. Conditions can change fast, and you may not always have immediate shelter like you would in a house. Having accurate, up-to-date, up-to-the-minute information can make the difference between staying safe and get caught off guard slipping by severe weather. This is why trained volunteers like SkyWarn spotters are so critical. These spotters serve as the eyes on the ground for the National Weather Service, reporting what they actually see, whether it's rotation in a storm, hail, damaging winds, or a tornado forming. Their reports help meteorologists confirm what they are seeing on radar and get warnings out to the public faster. So today we're going to talk about what it's really like to track a storm as it happens and how storm spotters like David help keep communities and campers on the road informed and safe. Welcome, Dave, to the show. Dave, it's good to have you on the show today.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the invite. I appreciate you reaching out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, I'm not going to hold you too long, but folks got questions and we're going to get right to it. So, Dave, let's start at the beginning. Early forecast models made this storm sound like it was going to be epic. It sounded like it could be a major outbreak for the mid-Atlantic. And where were you when you realized that the storm probably wasn't going to be as epic as they predicted, but it still posed a significant threat to Maryland?
So, physical location, I was right in the New Windsor area, actually, where the EF0 hit. Mm-hmm. But the day before, I was looking at the models myself. I was looking at a forecast. I chased with a friend who is an atmospheric researcher. He and I were talking. And there's another guy that I follow on YouTube. He's really good. Convective Chronicles or Conic Chronicles.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good. So with all those resources, I'm looking at what's going on, and we're kind of putting a chase plan together on the night of the 15th, which everything looked like it was going to be Central Virginia, some stuff up in this area.
Right.
And as the night went on, because I stayed up to about 2 a.m. because everything can change really quick. So
real quick,
I'm looking at like 6-hour helicity swaths, all that stuff on the radar. And I'm seeing everything still in Virginia, Central Virginia, Richmond area, just a little bit north, Fredericksburg. And I kept seeing a couple little blips up here in Maryland as that radar kept refreshing. And I'd made my mind up to go to Central Virginia and woke up in the morning, started heading that way, checked the models again, looked at some of the other atmospheric parameters, and I was like, something changed. And what had happened, and you don't necessarily want to rely on these for chasing, but I was using the 6-hour helicity swaths. Not a great tool to be using. I'm still learning forecasting. It's extremely complex, but those are tools that put us on some really big storms in the Midwest. So I've trusted them.
Okay.
Well, all of that modeling had gone away in Central Virginia, and it had moved north toward Northern Virginia, Maryland. And I was like, that's interesting. But it was very faint modeling. So I was like, I couldn't put a lot of faith in it. And then I went to my surface reflectivity radar, and I'm looking at what's going on there, and I'm just looking at what's coming in. And I just noticed down around Charlottesville, Virginia, everything started popping there. And everything popping there was severely warned. And I was like, okay. So they had put several tracks, National Weather Service had put several tracks on those storms, and they were headed right up through Leesburg, DC, ultimately here to Maryland. So I was like, okay, it's still kind of early. I expected some severe weather early in the morning and some mid-afternoon and a little bit into the evening, but not much, because what we had found was that cold front coming through was moving much faster than anticipated. The other thing, and this is what changed the forecast as well, there were prefrontal cells forming all over the Virginia area. So storms ahead of that front that were killing all of the unstable air in the area. It wasn't allowing things to get unstable enough. It wasn't allowing enough heat to come up into the Maryland, Virginia area like they originally anticipated. Plus, those prefrontal storms that had popped up ahead of that line had a lot of cloud cover. So we're not getting a lot of solar heating, right? So the atmosphere is not as unstable as we'd like it to be for tornado genesis ultimately. And I would say this because I've followed kind of the fallout from the internet because this storm system failed to produce what National Weather Service and SPC was claiming it was going to do. But I could say we dodged a bullet with the system, falling apart like it did. And later I'll talk about a storm I chased with almost these exact parameters, but it did have a particular dangerous situation warning assigned to it, and that was in the West, in the Midwest. We can talk about that later. So just kind of knowing the parameters of what was set up to happen here in Maryland and what I've chased in the Midwest, extremely dangerous. What was going to potentially be coming through here had all those parameters.
The atmosphere stabilized. Right. Yep. Now, let me ask you this. And I think you might be going into this. Like, did you decide that you were going to chase the day before, or was this something that you just kind of came up with the next morning?
So I had been watching the models since Saturday.
Okay.
And I had seen the warning, just a blip of the warning on Friday. I kind of looked at it. I was like, this will go away. You know, I'm like, they're forecasting 3 days out, a storm this severe. I'm like, I don't know about that.
It's a long distance to travel for it to maintain that. And I'm with you there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep an eye on this. And they kept bumping up the warnings. And I'm like, okay, this is something serious. And then again, like looking at the tornado threat, looking at what SPC is forecasting, what NWS is forecasting, which the people that I go to, like everything's leading to something big. And then Sunday night, like I said, I was looking at some models and it looked like some things were going to potentially fall apart. And sure enough, by morning, they had. And so I had made the decision to chase this storm on Saturday night because everything was looking really juicy for some good severe weather. So that's when I had made that decision.
I'll be honest with you. I was more so expecting straight line winds more than anything, especially when I started to see that atmosphere kind of not cooperate with us. Okay. And once Monday morning hit, kind of walked outside and I looked up, and this is going to sound very strange, but to those out there that chase, you understand. I looked up and there was just this aura and smell to the air that said something, maybe not what we thought, but something is going to develop today. So we actually hightailed it out because we full-time camp up in the Woodbine neck of the woods. And we went down into Baltimore City because I could clearly see that this whole disturbance was kind of walking between, I'm going to say, 270, 15, 27, that corridor. So I'm a little too close to that to be in a motorhome and
Sure.
anything happen.
Sure.
And so I think you made the right decision there. Now, I guess the big question is, you know, telling the people how important is like that real-time information that you had on the ground versus what you were looking at in forecast models and things like that.
So when we're talking about me walking out the door and me using, I use a radar scope on my phone. And so I've got real-time location of me in proximity to the storm. When I walked out the door, I was like, okay, it's warm. There's moisture in the air. I was like, okay, it's not quite as what I expected, like you were saying. I was like, well, just give it a shot. There's definitely something brewing. Like I got the same kind of spidey sense that you're talking about. There's something's gonna happen. And as I was getting in the car, I said, let me just check everything one more time. Because still at that point I was heading to Central Virginia. And then I saw those storms pop up out of Charlottesville and come up through Leesburg into Maryland, Gaithersburg, Germantown, all that. I was like, okay, I can make it to Frederick. I got to head that way anyway. So I headed out to Frederick, checked everything again in Frederick. I said, okay, this one's got severe warned again coming into Leesburg. I'm going to head to Leesburg. So I went to Leesburg.
And it had warned maybe 3 or 4 times by that point, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then that it was still severe warned coming up to Leesburg. And as it got to just south of Leesburg, they tornado warned it.
That's when. Okay.
Yeah. And then that first one kind of hooked a little bit to the left and headed over toward Percival.
Yes.
So I went over there and I started going down into Percival, and then I was just watching the radar and I was like, this thing's dying out. And then they killed that warning. And as soon as they killed that warning, I was looking at a section further south of Leesburg and it started rotating on the radar. I was like, I'm going to head back.
Culpeper neck of the woods?
Yes.
Okay. I saw that too. Just wanted to make sure.
Yep, exactly. So that one that came out of Culpeper and up into Leesburg, I saw the rotation on the bottom end of that start. And I was like, I bet they're going to warn this. And as soon as that thought like went through my head, it popped up on radar scope. And hey, I'm like, cool. So I head over I was about 5 miles from Leesburg. And it was moving a little too fast for me to kind of get on the southeast corner of it. So I kind of got stuck in it. I got hit south to north, which you kind of don't want to be in that position because it's pretty dangerous.
Now, were you trying to stay ahead of it or were you trying to stay behind it?
I was trying to get on the southeast corner of it so that, because typically tornadoes move from southwest to northeast. So if you're on the southeast corner, you can kind of control where it is in relation to you. If you come in from the north, you can come in from the south and the west, but if you come in from the north, it can be pretty dangerous. And I wasn't too concerned, even though it was tornado warned, because I was watching the radar and I was looking at some other things, and I'm like, I think I'm okay. So I just let it hit me.
Yeah, unless if it was a sidewinder or something like that really weird, which we don't get over here, not in this region as much. I think you were in the best position.
Yeah, it turned out that way. From what I remember seeing on the radar, there was a little tiny bow echo, like a mini bow echo, that kind of pulsed, and then there was some rotation with that. And I was like, yeah, I don't think it's really going to go anywhere, and it didn't. But I got hit with a lot of, we'll just say they weren't true straight line winds, but straight line wind, heavy rain in Leesburg.
Any hail?
No hail. I stayed out of the hail core. It was a small hail core, so that was a little further west of me.
I figured, where that cold air was kicking. Yep.
So, and it wasn't a lot of hail. It was a little bit. And I just stayed out of that core, and I'm like, okay. So the storm overran me. I was like, great. I knew where it was going to track. So I started making my way back up to Frederick.
Okay.
It had gone across Poolesville, got warned again in Poolesville. We saw a hook coming around, and I think this.
Poolesville was the third warning.
Yep. It was the third one. Exactly. And so we saw this notch forming, which is where, you get that hook echo on the radar.
Yep.
So they hadn't warned it yet. So I was like, all right, I'm going to head to Poolesville. They warned it. And then I saw it tracking more toward Germantown. I was like, well, I can't go into DC and make it around in time because of the traffic.
No, you're not going to happen. Yeah.
I'm just going to go back up to Frederick as fast as I can and come across 70 and catch it then. And so that's what I did. And it got warned Poolesville, then over to Germantown, Gaithersburg area, up into Mount Airy, Woodbine. I actually came through Woodbine.
Okay.
So it got ahead of me, and I was chasing from behind. It was pretty cool. In Frederick, you could see kind of some of the remnants of the hail core that had gone through, that super cool air. And it kind of created a fog behind the storm.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool to see. And I was just watching the track as it was going, and I was like, okay, it's going over to Mount Airy, Woodbine area, headed up into Westminster. And as it got warned in Westminster, another cell had popped up over here in New Windsor, Union Bridge area. So
and I was going to say they were two separate cells that popped. And I remember because I thought it was very weird because I'm sitting here, I'm at the command center here, and I'm just kind of looking, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, something. And you know how you just kind of sort of, your eye starts to move a little west.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, this is about to get interesting.
Yes.
And it did.
It did. It very much did. As I was coming across 70, I saw 70 to Mount Airy. I saw several trees snapped off along the highway. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Still, there was no report of a tornado out in that area. I went through Mount Airy, went through Woodbine, worked my way back up into Winfield area.
Yes.
Because at this point...
27 and 26?
Correct. Because at this point, I'm still behind. I'm trying to see if I can see anything from behind the storm, and I wasn't seeing anything, but I was looking for a damage path for anything that might have popped up. And I didn't find any damage path until I got closer to New Windsor.
So the storm in New Windsor, actually, you were behind that the whole time? Okay. So you were never really in danger of being in the direct path of this storm?
So this exact storm system that I'm talking about, it did overrun me in Leesburg.
Okay.
So that was the only time. The rest of the time I was behind the storm playing catch up just because of the topography and the roads here, and all the traffic, as you know. I was just playing catch up to get back to the core of the storm when it kind of split, right? And so we got those two warnings over Westminster, New Windsor, Union Bridge area, and then the one that had continued up through Mount Airy. So that one was tornado warned 5 times, and then we got the 2 warnings in the New Windsor area. So
let's dig into it. Tell us what happened in New Windsor.
So in New Windsor, I was coming in on Marston Road, and I noticed a tree on the corner of this house, a massive tree just blown down. I was like, wow, okay. All right, something happened here. And then prior to that, I had seen other trees blown over, and there was a lot of debris in the road.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, something came through here. And as I got into New Windsor, I actually didn't take a right and go directly into New Windsor. I went out toward Sam's Creek Road, and then Hawks Hill and Winter's Church and all that back there where those farms are.
Right.
And that's when I started this. I saw the snapped off trees on Hawks Hill that they put in the NWS report.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, something came through here, wound back down into New Windsor, and then headed out of New Windsor into Union Bridge. And right in front of me, I guess somebody had called it in already. There was a police officer who had just pulled up to the downed power lines and the snapped off trees. There was a barn that was torn into pieces on the other side of 75, ripped the whole
Okay, see,
backside.
we didn't get that report.
Yeah, so that's in the official NWS report.
Okay.
They said it was an EF0, 80 mile an hour winds. It had damaged trees on Hawks Hill. It had flipped over and twisted agricultural irrigation equipment.
Okay.
It had damaged and torn the roof and the back wall off of a barn. And then
I heard about the collapse of the roof. I did hear about that.
Yep. So that's in there. And then right across the street is where the power lines came down.
Got it.
And it was really interesting because, I mean, I got there just right as it had gone through. Of course, I was looking for rotation the whole time. I didn't see any rotation.
Would you consider it rain wrapped at that point? Is that why you maybe not have been able to actually see the funnel itself?
Potentially. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily. I guess I could classify that as a potential high precipitation storm. It definitely wasn't a low precipitation storm. So it very well could have been rain wrapped. And that was one thing that was a little concerning me about chasing these days or that day on Monday, is because of some of the rain wrapped tornadoes that can happen in these high precipitation storms. They're very dangerous. And for people that don't know, like a low precipitation storm sounds like it is. There's very little precipitation. There's a very nice low cloud base. You can see the sun underneath the cloud base. A lot of the rain is off to the side, versus a high precipitation storm where it's just dumping rain. Usually they create like these beautiful shelf clouds, and it's more of an outflow dominant kind of storm. But tornadoes can be hidden in the rain wrapped area. And like chasers will call that the bear's cage, because that's where the bear
cage. Yes, sir.
That's where the bear lives, i.e. the tornado.
You don't want to meet that joker either, because I'm going to tell you.
No.
And speaking of the bear cave, was there any moment where you thought, okay, I need to get the heck out of here right now?
At one point in Leesburg, the car was getting rocked pretty good. And I was like, And visibility went to, complete zero. And it wasn't anything that had me on edge. I've definitely been in worse scenarios chasing out west.
And we're going to talk about that.
Definitely been in worst case scenarios. But what I had done is I had positioned the car into the prevailing winds. So even with it rocking side to side like it was, with the wind coming straight on, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And just heavy rainfall, some hail in there, not a lot. Like I said, the hail core was further to the west. But coming up toward New Windsor, no, because I was still just
behind
chasing. I was too behind it to catch up. So as far as the actual damage in the New Windsor area, trees roughly around 10 inches to 12 inches in diameter just snapped off. The winds had taken a telephone pole and bent it on about a 45-degree angle, and that's where all the power lines came down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to jump in the conversation a little bit, because you said something, and I just kind of, want to put out there how dangerous this stuff is. Tell me this, and I'll share mine as well. Worst tornado you've ever had to chase, seen face to face. Tell us about it.
So the worst one is currently the strongest recorded tornado ever on the face of the planet. And that is the Greenfield, Iowa tornado. With
You
internal
chased that storm.
internal rotating winds of 108 to 118, or no, I'm sorry, 308
300, yeah.
to 318 miles per hour. That storm had the same parameters. The Greenfield tornado had the exact same parameters of what we were warned with here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I knew it was serious. The only difference between what happened here in Maryland and what happened in Iowa was the Iowa storm was PDS, meaning particularly dangerous situation, which ramps up the severity of the storms, and that there will be tornadoes on the ground and long track tornadoes, meaning tornadoes that are traveling miles.
Yeah. Not this mile and a half that this one did. We're talking counties.
Yeah, this one was, Greenfield was 30 miles, I think it was, total.
Were you here in 2002?
La Plata?
So when that storm hit in 2002, I was in Waldorf at the time.
Okay.
And one of the things that irritate me about this storm, and I think you'll appreciate this a little bit, the National Weather Service claims that they never saw the storm. And I am an amateur radio operator, and I ran some years later the Greater Baltimore Hamburgian Computer Fest with the group from W3FT, or Baltimore Amateur Radio Club, and we invited the National Weather Service there to do this, seminar.
Nice.
And this question came up: hey, what happened in La Plata? So they go through their whole spiel, and finally, I say, wait a minute, hold it. How did you not see the storm? Their response was, well, we didn't see it on radar. I said, you were in Sterling, right? And he says, yes. I said, okay. And do you have windows in your building? He looks at me as if to say, where are you going with this?
Sure.
So here's where I'm going with it. This storm the hook tracked directly over top of Sterling. And you mean to tell me that nothing that you had saw this until it was too late? Did not make any sense to me. So fast forwarding, at that time, we didn't have cell phones that were just going off. I actually heard the sirens go off in Waldorf. So what do I do? Quickly find some internet at a cafe somewhere, and I'm tapping away. And then I am looking at this as if to say, holy like it was, okay. I have family down in that Brandywine neck of the woods, and I'm thinking, what do I do? So I shot down 301. And I'm just constantly watching this dry line walk away because it was defined. Literally, day on one side, completely night on the other, like midnight. How they missed this, I don't know.
That's crazy.
And to hear that storm go through and across that 301, like they were finding pieces of La Plata in Leonard, like California, Maryland. Like it was ridiculous. Here's the funny part about it. They downgraded what they originally said to an F4. So my question is, explain to me, maybe you can tell me, because you've got some experience, you're knowing what you're talking about. I'll run it by you. When have you ever seen an F4 that's a mile wide?
I can't say that I've seen an F4 a mile wide. The Greenfield was pretty wide. I think it was a quarter mile maybe wide. Can't remember all the statistics on Greenfield. But yeah, I mean, half a mile wide, that's significant. And it's very weird how NWS determines the Fujita scale. It's based on damage. It's not based on actual wind speeds and size of storm, which is interesting.
And interestingly enough, you could clearly see where this storm, the winds alone, cut a path a mile wide. They weren't like snap trees like that. until you got closer to that half mile, little bit in. Then there was just nothing there. You could just ride your bike down there because it didn't exist anymore. But that was their way of covering up their mistake to say, oh, it wasn't that severe. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on. Are we really playing the politics games with people's lives at this point? Just admit that you goofed up and put another radar somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how you solve the problem. You improve, the next time. So I guess I say all of that to say this, people. It's a science, but it's not an exact science. And you cannot predict every single thing Mother Nature does. Sometimes you just gotta go with it. And that is why guys like Dave are out there. This is why my crazy self gets out there, and other people from SkyWarn and these places, because you can only see but so much on a computer screen. What's on the ground is what counts. So listen, in case nobody else did, I need to thank you for being out there, man, because you're giving a perspective nobody else is able to give. So I got to ask, how did you get into storm spotting in the first place?
I don't know. I don't know where it really started. I've always enjoyed weather since I was a kid, snow specifically. I mean, which kid doesn't love snow and get out of school, right? 100%.
Everything on my coach and my car says Florida for a reason. If I don't ever see snow again, I'm that guy. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, just always watching the weather when it was gonna snow or severe storms were coming through. I just always got excited, and I always enjoyed the lightning and the thunder, and
yeah, man.
And you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this, the feeling of it all.
Oh yeah, man.
Right.
That kind barometric pressure feeling. Oh yeah.
Like that buzz before and then the calm after. And I just always enjoyed weather. And, of course, the movie Twister comes out a long time ago. That was really cool.
Bill Paxton. I miss that guy, man. Yeah.
I think I had learned about tornado chasing before that movie came out, but that movie kind of made it real. And I just started chasing about 4 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have guessed that you had been chasing 20, 25 years or so.
No.
Okay.
Now, observing and watching, but actual storm chasing, legitimate storm chasing, about 4 years ago. And that's with my buddy's atmospheric researcher. And so we've seen some really cool storms. We might have totaled a vehicle or two. Wouldn't know anything about
if you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: what advice would you give to somebody who wants to learn how to safely spot?
On the ground around a storm, and I'm talking around, not even close to a storm. Your situational awareness, like what's going on in the atmosphere. Is there cloud to ground lightning anywhere close to you? It's time to back it up. And especially if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to severe weather, because it is, my buddy and I, we've been chasing now for 4 years. It still gets us sometimes. We still get ourselves in a very dangerous situation. Occasionally we're like, we didn't see that. Or something changed really quick in the atmosphere and we were in the wrong place at the wrong time. So distance, really get with somebody that knows what they're doing, do a lot of research, a lot of reading. The SPC and NWS websites, there's our tax dollars at work, use them.
And all of that stuff will be in the description in this video. Make sure.
So those guys.
Anything else you want to leave us with?
As far as chasing goes, it's a lot of fun. You can really enjoy Mother Nature and the storms from a distance. You don't have to be, hanging out in the bear's cage to have some excitement, to take some beautiful video and photos and things like that. But if you want to get into the middle of the action, you really need to know what you're doing and ultimately accept the risk that you're taking, because you are taking a big risk when you're interacting with severe weather that has the energetic potential to just pick your car up and throw it 100 plus feet across the road like it's nothing. It's a real deal, and it's very dangerous. And obviously I encourage people to go and do it, but be safe while you're doing it, for sure.
And be smart. Like, that's really important. Like, hey, Reed, Temmer, if you're out there, what's going on, buddy? Do me a favor. Let me borrow the Dominator with this guy for a little bit. We'll return it back. Might not be the same as you gave it to us, but we'll still give it back to you. So, Dave, listen, man, I'm not going to take too much of your time. We appreciate you taking time to break down what happened and give us an inside look at what storm spotting is really like. I really do appreciate that. And to everybody watching, remember, when severe weather hits, the best thing you can do is stay aware, have a plan, and take warnings seriously. So if you've enjoyed this episode of Hanging with the Hazes, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this episode. Dave, again, man, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the opportunity. It's very rare that I get to speak weather with other folks that enjoy it.
No problem, man. Hey, family, we'll see y'all next time. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.